All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Plug presented to you by Mile High Sports. We've got a special guest hopping on with us today, Mr. Main Card himself. On this weekend's UFC 320 card, we have number 9 ranked featherweight Youssef, the Moroccan Devil, Zalal. Yussi boy, how you doing?
I'm good, my man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time, bro. I know it's crunch time last little bit before hitting the road and off for travel day and hitting Las Vegas. So we're grateful for you as well. Yusuf, how does it feel to be now inching closer to that top 5 spot? You've got Josh Emmett on Saturday. It's a big opportunity on a big card. Just what are your initial thoughts?
I'm taking it as a grateful moment and a blessing, you know what I mean? And I'm taking everything I can, you know what I mean? I go in and do what I do best and perform and change my life and like you said, it's a big card and it's there's a lot of eyes on it, there's a lot of media on it, there's a lot of things on it. So the rest is all up to me when I go there on October 4th. So all the hard work is done and everything is done. Now we just gotta cut the weight and get that going and time to have fun after that, you know?
Oh, for sure. Now, in relation to in relation to getting to this point, getting back into the UFC, you've been white hot on this run. You've rattled off win after win in the process. Now, there was, maybe a little bit of fans who had some drawbacks potentially to the last performance with Calvin Cater, but winning is hard. Winning in the top ranks is hard, period. That's a dangerous opponent that you dominated the fight nonetheless. Is there maybe any bit of a factor for your approach based on maybe the reception of the last fight, or is it still, hey, you've got a job and winning is no, it doesn't matter what the critics or the fans say, winning is what's important?
I mean, I really don't care what they say, you know. I'm just a petty guy. So it's like for me, I just like I get an opportunity to go really show these guys what really I am and how good I am, you know what I mean? So, and the end of the day, what matters is the win and we get out of there healthy and then that's what's most important, you know what I mean? And give it everything I got, you know. And like I said, I had a lot of mixed feelings about my own performance just because how I am. I go hard on myself most of the time, but again, it's like, you know, the fans don't, I never experienced that in my life. That was the first time ever. So, and yeah, it just, it gets you, it puts a little fuel in you and then gets you a little bit that. And with me, like I said, man, I'm petty. So it makes it exciting for me.
I'm sure you probably have a list of receipts or screenshots from people who sent something. I mean, I just knowing you the way that I know you through the years, I know that you've kept track or you're going to remember who said what. And if it's anybody that was on the broadcast panel or anybody that was involved in Media Week, I'm not going to be surprised if they get put on the spot either.
Yeah, no, no, those guys are good. Those guys are good. They always been good right now. They all the podcast broadcast team and all that stuff. They've been good. You know what I mean? So and the fans, I really don't say the fans. I mean like it's just fans. You know what I mean?
You
But
got Michael Chiesa shell shocked.
yeah, well, that's my guy. So I don't know if he actually gonna be there too. So he always bet against me, and I always win. So maybe we keep that tradition going. So, but yeah, man, I just be interested about the mic talk. I'll just say that.
Now, in terms of matchup itself, Josh Emmett, obviously he's been around the block. He's been in the UFC for quite a long time. He's been a fixture in the rankings at featherweight for years now. He challenged for an interim title against Yair some time back. What does it mean for you to go up against somebody who does have the name or who has had the status that he had? He was on I can't remember, it was like an 8-9 fight win streak, something like that, all until he got to that title shot. Somebody who does have the resume that he does. What does that mean for you to have this opportunity?
Bro, it means the world to me, you know what I mean? And I finally get to put like a little respect on my name a little bit, you know what I mean? I feel like I've been in the top 10 and I just got into the top 10 and not like a whole lot of people kind of like passing me a little bit. So it's a great opportunity for me to really put my name up there and like you said, it's like he's only been finished like twice in his whole career. So for me to go out there and really perform against him, it really puts my name up there and gets the respect and it proves all my hard work that it's working, you know, and that's what most important, you know what I mean? It gives get a little peace in my mind and then kind of go from there. So yeah, it's definitely the biggest opportunity in my life and I'm so grateful for it and I'm so excited for it. I can't wait till October 4th.
Certainly, certainly. Now, in terms of the X's and O's, Josh Emmett, we all know at this stage of the game, we know what his bread and butter is. It's the big overhand. What have you done, not necessarily to reveal anything stylistically, but what have you done in preparation just to make sure that all stones are unturned, everything is taken care of for the preparation side? Who have you brought in? What has been some of the work that you've done to prepare for this fight?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously it's an MMA fight, so I have to get ready for everything. You know what I mean? And we don't know what the game plan they come in with. You know what I mean? And but I kind of like not really focus on that so much. So I focus on me, like what is my bad things, whatever I'm good at, what I need to sharpen up and stuff like that. So that was kind of like the most thing I focused on, and obviously the big respect of the right hand. So you have to respect the right hand. You can't play traitor shots with him. You know what I mean? So he's not pretty known for his right hand, but hey, it's a fight, so we'll see what happens when we go in there. But yeah, man, I've been training a lot with AJ Fletcher. That was my main guy for this fight, and obviously Lolo as well. Lorenzo, he's one of the upcoming amateur guys, and he's my boy, and I really can't wait to see him at the pro level. And then obviously I bought Miles Johns for a couple of days as well, so that was very helpful. And yeah, man, it was a great camp. It was a hard camp, and really went after it. And I'm excited for to see all that work pay off.
Obviously, you guys are preparing for two different styles of fighter, but also you did have some preparation or some time in the gym with Corey Sandhagen throughout this camp, with him also being the main event of this card, fighting Merab Dvalishvili for the bantamweight title. How does just having someone else who is A, trying to peak and redline on that same day, along with someone who is just the wealth of knowledge like he is, how does having somebody like that who is targeted at the same point, as well as your teammate Chris Gutierrez, who's also going to be on the card, who has been, within the rankings and someone who has achieved some of the high points of this sport as well. How does that help?
Oh, it helps a lot, just to feed out of each other's energy. You know what I mean? You see that like this guy's really pushing. You see this guy really focus on his game plan and all this stuff. So like it just like kind of like energy vampire we call it as a Factory X thing. But it's like yeah, it definitely like you feed off each other and then really work and nonstop. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a great energy. I'll just say that like the energy is definitely different. You walk in and you're like. Well, yeah, I better get my stuff together, you know what I mean, and everything together. So it's a blessing too, to have that opportunity to train with all these guys and to have them all in a gym and stuff like that. We don't get that often now these days, especially now these days. I feel like everybody likes to be on their own thing, but yeah, it's definitely a blessing for sure.
Certainly. Now, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first time on a main card?
First time on a pay-per-view,
On a
yeah.
pay-per-view main card, yes.
Yeah, main card. And I've been on a fight night main card, and I was only like twice. But yeah, this is my first time ever on a pay-per-view.
So yeah, you get to have the extra pop of the crowd. It's a full crowd then at that sense. Because I mean, obviously, it was this fight right here, but for your debut down in Houston, but you were one of the first fights of the evening.
I was
So
the first fight of the night.
yeah, very first fight of the night against Austin
Yeah.
Lingo. So there was still a pretty good crowd there already in the arena in Houston. Sometimes some of the prelims, obviously, they fill in a little bit later as the night goes on, but to actually be, in the thick of things on the main card, you're going to be there making that walk once the crowd is filled. There's been all the fight bros in the crowd. They've been having some barley pops for a couple of hours and they're feeling no pain out there. You've got the Just Bleed crew that's doing their thing. So, do you ride off of that energy from the crowd?
100%, bro. I'm sick and tired of fighting at the Apex. You know what I mean? So that means that like my best performances are been in crowd. So I'm like, I feel like I was like, I need to be there, and I feed off energy. You know what I mean? I'm an energy person, obviously, if you know me, but and I like that. That's like this is what we do. This is what we're about. You know what I mean? We're an entertainment sport, and also like to feed off that crowd and see that. So yeah, man, I've been dreaming about it nonstop, and it means a lot to me. So I can't wait to make that walk and really see all the hard work going into this fight.
Now, shifting gears a little bit here, it's somewhat along the same lines, but also a little bit different. At this stage of the game, you are such a veteran within your age already. I mean, it's not like you're, old in the sense of where some of the older guys on the spectrum of the sport are, but in terms of maybe the knowledge piece or the IQ, some of the achievements, already being a black belt within your 20s, all of those things, so on and so forth. You've always been somewhat in a leadership role of the team, but now you are that veteran. You are that guy who is, you are now someone who has the experience that also supplements the knowledge that people basically came to you for years along the way. But now you can say, well, yes, I do have this top 10 ranking. I do have these finishes in the UFC. I have done X, Y, and Z things. What does that mean to you now, just on a personal level? Would you sit there and just kind of, maybe it's a night when you're sitting back, the cat's sitting right there, you're reflecting, maybe after playing your racing game or something, and you're just like, man, I've done some cool things. And like, it's kind of a cool spot to be in. Do you ever have those moments?
100%, man. Like I go into like life sometimes and I really be like, man, like imagine if I stopped fighting after what I said I was gonna be done after fighting, after being cut and all that stuff and things like that. And like I really not really try to focus on being a role model or anything, but if you with me and you're close to me, like I want to make sure that you have that high standard, that high quality things that you need to get done. You know what I mean? Because like you said, like experience is the best teacher that ever taught me in life, and it's still happening to this day. It's never nonstop. So for me to give it to these guys for free, you know what I mean? Not really doing anything about it, and to kind of do it and show them how it's done as well, not just tell them. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times we be saying, "Oh, you need to work hard, this and that," but they don't. They're like everybody thinks work hard is showing up one day and then leave. You know what I mean? That's not really working hard. So working hard is when you succeed and then win, and then like let's see you back. Let's see what you done. Let's see how you do it and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, it's amazing to see. It makes me happy. I feel like I'm doing something on this earth that I get people to kind of really see that.
Yeah, so you were just saying basically that it feels good to be seen as a role model, or it feels good that people look up to you in a sense.
Yeah, man, it just shows you doing something right in this world. You know what I mean? I feel like, especially now these days, this world is it's like miscommunication, like misjudgment, whatever. There's a lot of things going on in this world. So for me to have some sort of a role model on a kid or on a person, it means a lot to me, and it means I'm doing something right.
Absolutely. And at that, it's at an international level, I mean, I feel like the trips that you've made back home, every single time that you go back, you can see just the love of all of your fellow countrymen back home in Morocco. Like, the way that they look up to you, like you can't fake that sort of love.
100%. And that's what it is, man. I wanted, like, I see myself in those kids, you know what I mean? And for me, I got the opportunity obviously to come to the US and really change my life and really go from there. So I want to give that opportunity for them as well, and really open up hopefully more hopes and more hard work and all that stuff in Morocco. So I can't wait to keep doing that, and I will do that until I get to the top.
Definitely. Now, you see, as we're starting to tie some things up here, I got to ask you because you're one of the most disciplined guys that I've ever met throughout the fight game. But I also know that no matter what the case is, we've all got our vices. We've all got some of the things that, they're just the temptations. What is the hardest thing for you to cut out or to dial back on during fight camp? For some people it's sweets, for some people it's carbs like pasta or pizza. Some people it's stuff like sushi. What is the hardest thing for the Moroccan Devil Youssef Zalal to give up? And I know it's going to be something sweets related.
Oh yeah, my chocolate for sure, bro. Dessert, yeah, 100%. But I think the biggest thing is like just like meals. Like I feel like sometimes I get like extra hungry and I'm like wake up at night and stuff like that. I'm like, man, a pizza would sound nice right now, you know what I mean? But you can't really do that, you know what I mean? Because you gotta feel that. So yeah, I would say, boy, chocolate. Yeah, keep that thing away from me, bro. That's my kryptonite, bro. And I feel it too. Like I feel such a post guilty pleasure. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I eat it and I'm like, oh God, tomorrow's gonna suck. You know, and then stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely got to know your body, understand your body, and then really just kind of play around with it a little bit.
Well, it's crazy that you say that because I had this conversation when I was out in Vegas for that card last week when I was out there for it, and or a week and a half, whatever it was, for the Baroka XFC show, and had this exact conversation of pretty much everybody who's been in the fight game for at least a measurable amount of time. You have an eating disorder of a certain extent, like a binge eating disorder to a certain extent because
100%.
you're crashing and depleting a lot of these things. Like you're still getting, you're still having a very rounded, balanced diet, getting all your macronutrients and micros and all of those things. But it's hyper restrictive of pulling some of those things out. The fight goes and happens, and then it's just all out binge for a few days of pretty much seafood, eat food.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, but the problem with me is I'm like the opposite. I was like, I come back, and if I'm training and if I'm in town and I'm like back to the gym, like I don't give myself a break, like I'm fine. But when I come back, the problem is I'll just eat like two big meals the whole day. So like I don't like eat, but the biggest thing is snacking. That's like when I snack a lot because I'm like I really don't feel hungry. I'm like still recovering from the weight cut, still recovering from the hype of the fight and the joy of the fight. So it's like kind of like living that a little bit. So I'm like just chilling, you know, but yeah.
Bro, you are the only person who I know who comes back from your couple of days away after a fight and just eating your sweets and your treats and all that, who comes back with a head that is like two hat sizes bigger.
If I let myself go, bro, yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
first time
that's
that you came back from visiting back home, like we're like, oh Jesus, Yusuf looks like Jimmy Neutron. Like his head is like two times too big for his body right now.
yeah, boy, I was ooh boy.
But I mean, it sheds quick once you're back in the mix. But it was just like that's where like some guys, things blow up in other spots, or some, they get super big or bloated looking. Like you don't get big anywhere else besides like you could just see all of the retention all up here.
Yeah, I gotta sit in the sauna or something, bro. Get that thing out of my head, bro. What's going on? Big ass head.
I love it. I love it. Now, as we tie things up, one last serious question here for you, UC boy. Is there any song, a quote, maybe a passage of scripture, a movie scene, anything of that sort that is telling the tale of Yusuf the Moroccan Devil Zalal for this camp?
Oh God. Oh, that's good. That's a good. Uh, well, my boy Unama got me on his walkout song, and that's like been my favorite song. That's like been a hype song for me, and it's called "Peace" by Moped. And I feel like that's kind of like the biggest thing. I feel like I kind of just had a lot of peace with my mind and all the pressure and all this and this and that. So I would say that that's my biggest thing.
Okay, okay, that's a great answer.
Yeah, a little
Now,
peace.
as we tie this thing up right now, UC boy, is there any other message that you want to get out there to your friends, family, supporters, sponsors, anybody out there?
No, man, yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you to everybody that supported me, the true fans, the fake fans. I love you no matter what. And then yeah, man, I can't wait for October 4th. Make sure to tune in, make sure to get your pay-per-view, even though I'm not gonna get nothing out of it, but you make sure to go watch it. And then yeah, I'll talk to you guys after that.
Thank you so much, folks. That is Yusuf the Moroccan Devils Zalal. Catch him on the main card this weekend at UFC 320. He'll be taking on Josh Emmett. UC boy, we're all rooting for you. We'll be here supporting you from the mile high. And folks, we'll be right back to you after the break with more original combat sports programming. I'm Jordan Kurtz alongside Yusuf Zalal. This is the MMA plug presented to you by Mile High Sports.
My boy.